Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. It's Connor here and we are back with another episode of the Rumour Mill. We've all probably come down from last night, Willie Gnonto's absolutely outstanding performance. I'm just coming down from it, to be quite honest with you. I've watched the highlights, very, very giddy about this guy. And yeah, let's hope he can fire us to not only safety, but prosperity up the Premier League. So yeah, Patrick Bamford, great to see him returning last night and getting on the score sheet. As I mentioned last night in the review, I thought his finishes were absolutely sublime. Some excellent technique in the first and the second. Fantastic touch, drilled at home into the bottom corner. Great stuff. Rodrigo, obviously, we saw him get on the score sheet as well. And just an abundance of positivity from last night. I mentioned as well on my review that the only issue for me was the 2 goals that we let in. Naturally, I didn't think they were great. Obviously, Cardiff could have had a third as well if the offside was maybe at a different referee's door or whatever, but it is what it is. The overriding arcing theme is that Leeds United got through to the next round. We could be playing Boreham Wood or Accrington Stanley. Very winnable. Let's hope it's not a Histon type scenario. But yeah, listen, all positivity on that front and great news for Leeds United. So we're here to discuss some of the rumours that are going on today, provide a little bit of an injury update. So first up on the injury update, it is about Maximilian Wöber. Apparently Jesse Marsch spoke to him last night and they had a conversation after the game. Turns out Wöber doesn't seem too bad and he thinks he'll be okay. This was coming after the news that Robin Cox picked up a knock, that Liam Cooper has a knock, and Pascal Struijk also has a knock, which, you know, feels like the entire Leeds United defence is out at this moment in time. So yeah, we need Wöber, and it's not just for his, you know, dependability and all that stuff being in this Leeds United side and him being a new signing. It's obviously the fact that he is, you know, He's a very decent defender in my book from what I've seen so far, which is critical in this Leeds side because we need good defenders, and that's absolutely imperative at the minute. So it's great to hear that he's going to be back. It's great to hear that hopefully the injury isn't too serious, and let's just hope that this is going to be a little bit of a quick turnaround for the Brentford game for Maximilian Wöber, because it seems at the minute that Leeds have an abundance of injuries in the back line. Damar said Firpo starting to play decent. That's something I never thought I'd be saying. Yeah, 100%. Gelhardt to Wigan is just bizarre there. Bottom, we'll wait and see if that happens. Stephen Underwood says, morning Connor, 2 days caught you running live. Yeah, mate, it's a pleasure for me too, of course. L. James says, what do you think of Llorente last night, Connor? Didn't hear his name properly mentioned on a video last night, if I remember correctly. Yeah, all right, mate. I thought he was decent next to Wöber, but that's probably more plaudits to Wöber than it is Llorente. Thought he seemed quite steady. I don't think Cardiff had that much going forward. I thought Callum Robinson would have started for them, but they've got a massive game at the weekend like Leeds United have, so I think they were resting a couple of bodies as well. But overall, he wasn't really tested, I didn't think, in the first half. But when you surmise in the game, Llorente, listen, he's not my sort of defender. He never will be my sort of defender. He terrifies me. But overall, I thought he was okay last night. He was all right. He was all right, and he did his job in the first sort of 45 minutes. But I think I'm giving a little bit more credit to Maximilian Wöber there. You know, when we look at, hey Danny, hope you're good, mate. Yeah, long time. I think when you're looking at Maximilian Wöber, I think he was, it started to go wrong, didn't it? The structure of the side, everything started to melt down as soon as he went off the field. You know, that could be down to game state, but it could also be down to the fact that Wöber was conducting that back line really nicely. So, yeah. Llorente isn't great. Yeah, 100%. I can't disagree with that. Kaz says could get a stick for this comment. Happily take a thumping by Brentford to get rid of Jesse. His comments after the game last night are comments from someone who was panicking. It should not be conceding for. I've heard a lot of this. I mean, to be honest, Kaz, I never want Leeds United to lose a game. Ever, and that's why I can never really come out and say that, because it cripples me more when Leeds United lose football matches. It hurts for days and days and days. It's not nice for me. So I understand short-term pain, long-term gain there. I really do. But I just can't ever want Leeds United to lose a game. But I do understand your point. I've said multiple times, I don't think that Jesse's going to be able to turn this round. I think the ship's gone too far. However, if he does turn it around, absolutely fantastic. And I'll be well on board and be the first person backing him. Subra Hamanya. Sorry, mate, if I've murdered that. I gave it a go, then I had to take a little bit of a pause. Hey, Connor, greetings from India. Thanks for your streams. Keep it up, mate. Let us know where you are in India, mate. That's That's incredible. That really is. It's great to see the reach. But let's get on to some of the Rumour Mill news anyway, everyone. Strong interest from Leeds United. Club in hurry to close the sale. So Angers, apparently the club in France, we were speaking about Azzedine Ounahi not long ago, pretty much every day on the Rumour Mill, to be quite honest with you. But the Moroccan international has been on the agenda of several clubs. We've heard Leicester, we've heard Napoli, and now there's another club into the mix, and it is Aston Villa, which is not what you want to hear. With Aston Villa, obviously, they're at a little bit of a better profile than us at the minute. When it comes to league standings, they definitely have a lot more money than Leeds United. I think we're all aware of that. And Angers are looking for a quick sale, according to L'Equipe. Apparently, Angers' chief said that apparently his agent, his agent Shaban, made a trip to England to hold discussions to sell the midfielder. It also suggested that he could have had talks with Leeds and one other club. Apparently Ciro Venerato, who is someone who we spoke about, the Italian journalist who broke the news right at the start, relayed to Napoli magazine that Aston Villa are now in the picture. They are now in the picture for the signing of Azzedine Ounahi, and over at Calcio Mercato, they state that the Serie A side Napoli don't intend to pursue with Ounahi due to the financial obligation for that deal. So it looks like it is down to two clubs. Now, my take on this is it would be crippling if we lost this signing to Aston Villa, a Premier League rival. A little bit of a build-up when it comes to rivalry in the past sort of 5 to 6 years when it comes to Leeds and Villa, two big clubs who were almost always competing for that same spot, that same area, really. And, I think we've got very, very similar projections as clubs. And I think at the minute, it would be a real coup for Leeds United to be able to get someone like Azzedine Ounahi over Napoli, over Leicester, over Aston Villa. It would be a real statement. And I just think we have to bolster that midfield. We've got an abundance of options going forward now. That's evident. We didn't even mention Crescencio Somerville last night. Leeds' options going forward are really vast, but we know where the problems lie. It's the midfield structure when it comes to defending as a unit, and it's also just the defence in general being isolated by opposition runners. So Leeds have to sort that. We have to, as much positivity as we can derive from last night, as much positivity we can derive from the Ruta move, that's absolutely fantastic. But as I mentioned last night, everybody, sustainability is not scoring 3, 4, 5 goals every single game. You have to shore it up at the back. And I think that's something that we all need to take into consideration. I'm not saying Ounahi will do that, but he'll bring a little bit more structure to the midfield. We might have a little bit more balance in there. We might be able to, fluctuate when it comes to formations as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Super Joe said he's a risk, in my opinion. He only lit the World Cup up, doesn't want to come, and we should move on. That's fair enough. I prefer Seko Fofana to Ounahi. What I'd say is it's just interesting. It's interesting that Leeds are pursuing this, and they are. They are pursuing this. I think Angers want around 20 to 25 million. I think that's been the stumbling block for Leeds at the minute. Whether or not that's just hard negotiation, it could be. But it is interesting how he is clearly Leeds' number one target. Leeds clearly value him very, very highly. But when it comes to an asking fee, a transfer fee, I should say, suddenly they're stumbling a little bit. So, yeah, Leeds clearly value him. Leeds clearly feel that he can turn that World Cup form into domestic campaign form. So that's not the question for me. We can all have opinions as fans, but Leeds clearly believe that he is going to be able to do that. I think the stumbling block at the minute, obviously, is the transfer fee. And there we go, everybody. That's probably the most unusual thing that's happened on a stream. The mic's gone, but the camera's never gone. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think it's just going to be fascinating to see how Leeds go with this one, evidently. And they clearly... You can probably hear me swearing in the background there. Sorry, guys, I've unplugged it and everything like that. That is highly unusual, never happened before. But yeah, as I say, stumbling fee, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Next one, Charlie Cresswell. What's going to happen there? We've got this Portuguese international, young international coming in. It looks like, is it Monteiro? Diego Monteiro looks like he's going to be coming in. He's going to be part of the developmental program, so I don't really see that going to the next level when it comes to getting into the starting 11. But what it does mean is it blocks out players like Leo Yelda. We mentioned when he went to Rotherham, that obviously changed things. His development was blocked a little bit. And when it came to Maximilian Verber coming in, when Monteiro comes in, which is definitely going to happen, he's going to join the developmental squad. That once again is going to block Charlie Cresswell. So apparently Leeds are looking to sell Charlie Cresswell, according to several reports I've read this morning, this summer, this January transfer window, I should say. So that's something which it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've mentioned Charlie before being a future captain. We've mentioned that level of leadership from the back, that level of authority from the back, that technical ability that we saw against West Ham United. And we all thought, really, that he can take that next step, that Premier League step after that West Ham game. It hasn't worked like that. The Millwall saga has been a bit difficult for him. He started on like a house on fire, but he's really veered off. He has really veered off at the minute. I think he's struggling to get into that first team setup. So, yeah, a shame for Charlie. I would be upset that he went. I really do. I really would be. I think he's a decent player. I think he's got a lot of potential. So watch this space definitely with Charlie Cresswell. But Batty's Magic Sponge says, how can we sell Cresswell but give Llorente a new deal? Insanity. Apparently Leeds were saving money there. It was staggered over a 4-year contract, which has meant that in January they've been enabled to spend more on wages. Don't ask me how that works, everyone. I really don't know. But yeah, guess we're all feeling happy this morning, but the form has to continue means nothing if we lose the next 5. Completely agree, James. I agree with you, mate. Keep Cresswell at all costs. I just think when you look at someone like Llorente and you look at someone like Cresswell, is he yards behind someone like Llorente? Is he yards behind someone like Robin Koch? Take out the fact that he's been playing in the Championship for Millwall and he's been struggling a little bit. I'm just looking at ability and potential. Has Charlie got a little bit more than that? You'd probably say yes. And I could definitely see Charlie going low and then getting back up to that level. That's what I can see. I can see him maybe, let's say, hypothetically moving to a Sunderland or whoever it might be in that division, really impressing, and then moving up, being signed by a Premier League new boy or whatever. I can genuinely see that. I think he's got a really high ceiling, Cresswell. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Yeah, and Pat P says contract renewal doesn't mean we're keeping Llorente for the contract period. It just means it's just a case of negotiating better terms. Yeah, and I understood this a little bit more, and I heard the other day apparently that there might be interest for Llorente in the summer, which is where you keep your eye on that one. So the contracts stagger over 4 years, reducing the wage a little bit, so we have more wages now available to go and spend on an Ounahi, on a Ruta, and then leads to sell Llorente on for a decent price in the summer. I think that's the way to go. And if the club have done it like that and they've done it in the right way, then fair enough. I don't think everybody, including myself, understood the structure of the contract. And I think I always say when it's contracts, it's still based on a meritocracy. And it was a PR nightmare giving Diego Llorente. I don't care even if they staggered it. I don't care. Even if they reduced it, I don't care. Giving him a 4-year deal at the moment that Leeds United are in at the minute, which is just like horrific defending, especially when he's involved. I just didn't think it was good from a PR standpoint. So yeah, let's have a look. Any more news? Well, yeah, I think as we've said, everyone, it looks like Charlie's going to be on his way. That's my thoughts. I think Leeds will get rid of him as soon as this Monteiro comes in, who's very, very highly rated, by the way, in the Portuguese setup. So that's very exciting. Could he make a step up like Willy Gnonto has instantaneously? Who knows? We speak about the calibre of the defence at the minute. Is Monteiro going to come in? He's about 6'3", 6'4", looks like an absolute man mountain, good on the ball. Is he going to come in and just shock everyone like Willy Gnonto did? There's definitely potential there. Lots of people saying that Joffrey is going to Wigan. I've not seen that as of yet, but the last thing I saw with Leeds, we're yet to decide on what happens with Gelhardt. I think he's got to go. I mean, when we're talking about options at the minute, Gelhardt, you forget about. Somerville you forget about, because those first team options are so stacked at the minute, So yeah. Lots to consider, everybody. Lots of good news coming out this morning when it comes to injuries with Maximilian Verber. Hopefully he's going to be sound. Charlie Cresswell, slightly disappointed in that one, but Montero coming in. Could he maybe break into that first team setup very, very soon? That's exciting. And Leeds look like they are battling with Aston Villa for the signing of Ounahi. But it's great to hear that Angers are apparently looking for a quick sell because of their financial security at the minute. Guys, make sure you like the video. There's 400 of you in the building. And before I head off here, I'll be back with the Rumour Mill all the time. Just a quick update on the debrief at the minute. Gabe is actually over in England at the Mo, so we've not been able to film this week. When he goes back, everything will be back to normal and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, apparently he's in advanced talks with Wigan. That should be decent for him, at least going back there and maybe, you know, seeing old friends or whatever. But yeah, you would expect him maybe to be operating a little bit higher than Wigan. That's just my thoughts. Guys, have a good one, and I will see you in a bit. Cheers.